Hello boys and girls. Today we begin a new lesson and the lesson that we begin today is lesson 24. And this is the video that I want you to watch every day before you complete your workbook pages. On this week we're going to read A Tree is a Plant. That's our main story. But before we get to the story, we are going to read our sight words, our words to know. So here we go to the first one. Number one is ready. We are ready to pick apples. So as you can see, there's a lot to do with apples and trees on this lesson. That's what we're gonna focus on this week. Country. We live in the country. Now country has two meanings because country is the place where you live that is usually surrounded by water or land from other countries. But in this case, country is this part of the country where there are more trees and plants. So we compare the country to the city. The city is where there are more buildings, and the country is where there are more plants and trees. Let's go to number 3. Number 3, our word is soil. Soil. Then it says, we planted the flowers in the soil. Here we go to number 4. Look at all these pretty butterflies. Kinds. There are many kinds of butterflies here. And kinds usually has two meanings too. Probably more than two. So kind is when you're nice to someone. When you do something good for someone, you're kind to that person. But it's also it also means types of butterflies, type of birds, type of plants. All right, here we go to number 5. Earth. Earth is the name of our planet, but it's also another way to say dirt. It says earth. She covers the seeds with earth. So earth is also soil, the brown thing that you can see, the soil, the dirt. Almost. Number 6. The apples are almost ripe, and you can see the apple right there. It looks ready to eat. Covers is number 7. Pollen covers the bee. You can see right there. The yellow stuff on top of the bee is pollen from the flower. And that's how we get new plants, because the bee is gonna carry that pollen to other flowers and to other plants, because plants cannot move, right? All right, worms. That looks very yummy, right? The oven warms our apple pie. All right, now that we're done with the sight words, we are going, I'm trying to get the entire page on the screen so you can see it. I bet you miss our reading textbook. You're not gonna complain when we get back in and it's time to read. Alright, so let's move on to our focus for this week. And this week we're gonna focus on sequence of events. And we've been focusing on these for many lessons already, so it's important to know what happens first, next, and last. It says many selections tell about things in the order in which they happen. This order is called the sequence of events. Think about, I can see that, what happens first, next, and last as you read. So very important to keep these things in mind as we read. I want you to think, keeping order the things that happen. You can use a flow chart to keep track of the sequence of events. So here we have a little flow chart that we can use. We can kind of how to say, like, put this in your head when you think about first, next, and last. All right, so here we go. Life cycle. It says a seed is planted. A small plant sprouts up. It grows bigger. Then beans grow on the plant. Inside the beans are more seeds which can be planted. This is the life cycle of a being plant. Every living thing has a life cycle. You will read about the life of an apple tree in A Tree is a Plant. That's the title of our main story this week. And here we go. I want you to look at the tree. It's like a pine tree over here. Looks like a Christmas tree. Alright. So here we go. Before we get into the story, A Tree is a Plant, let's read a little bit about the authors. Well, the author, the person who wrote the words for this story, his name is Clyde Robert Bulla. And this is like Clyde Robert Bulla lived on a farm and went to a one-room school. He loved to read and write, but he also had to do chores. When he was 10 years old, that's a little bit older than you are, boys and girls, Clyde entered an essay contest and won a prize. When he grew up, he wrote many books for children. So those of you who are wondering, what's a one-room school? I remember my dad telling me that when he was in kindergarten, when he was in elementary school, just like you are right now, he went to a one-room school. And there was only one teacher. And the teacher had to teach kids of all ages. Okay, so here we go. We're going to meet the illustrator. Her name is Stacey Schuett. And it says, as a child, Stacey Schuett loved to ride her horse. So she probably lived on a farm too, right? Because she had a horse. His name was Norky. And be able to observe nature. She puts a lot of what she remembers in her drawings and paintings. So she's the one that drew the pictures for this book. Now let's take a look at the pictures here. Let's move this light back. Let's take a look at the title. A Tree is a Plant. What do you think? Fiction or non-fiction? Well, I say non-fiction. We're gonna find out. Non-fiction is that it's a real story, right? Even though it has drawings and not real pictures. Alright, sorry about that. Here we go to the beginning of our story. Oh, we have different type of trees here. We have conifers, we have maple. Here's a maple tree. The conifers look like are these type of trees that instead of having leaves, they have needles. The leaves are called needles because they're thin, long and thin. They're not shaped like a leaf. This is called persimmon. These are palms. We have a lot of palms here in Miami, right? And this is a lemon tree. Oh, we have one more over here. It's a willow. See, willow is very special because it also has like long leaves that are always falling like a hair, right? Okay, let's read the story. Let's begin reading. It says, a tree is a plant. A tree is the biggest plant that grows. Most kinds of trees grow from seeds, the way most small plants do. There are many kinds of trees. Here are a few of them, the ones that we just read. How many do you know? So we can see a bunch of different trees here. Some of them give fruits, like the lemon tree. And the palms also give a fruit. Remember what's the fruit that the palms give? Yeah, that's coconut, you're right. Persimmon also look like they give a fruit, but I'm not sure what type of fruit is that. We have a horse over here, right? A horse is not a tree. Conifers don't give fruit, but they have the other thing. We'll probably see later. Okay, and this is the maple tree. So I suppose this is a tree that people can collect maple syrup from the from the trunk. Do you remember? We also saw that in a story. It was a story about food. Okay, here we go. But on this story, we're going to focus on apple trees. You're going to see why now. Here we go. It says, this tree grows in the country, not in the city, in the country, but it might grow in the city too. It might grow in your yard too. Do you know what kind it is? This is an apple tree. And we can see just by looking at it, we can see that it has apples there. So that is an apple tree. And as you can see, it's not a super tall tree, right? Okay, let's continue reading. Here we can see the inside of an apple. And now it says, this apple tree came from a seed. The seed was small. It grew inside an apple. Have you ever seen an apple seed? I know you have seen an apple tree. I'm sorry, not an apple tree, but an apple seed. Because sometimes, a bunch of times, we had apples for lunch. And some of you even collected the seeds to plant later. So the seeds are really tiny. And we should not eat them. We should save them to plant them. Here we go. Ask an adult to help you cut an apple in two. The seeds are in the center. They look like this. We're going to go back and look at the seeds one more time. Those are the seeds. Alright, let's continue reading. Here we go. It says, most apple trees come from seeds that are planted. Sometimes an apple tree grows from a seed that falls to the ground. And I want you to look at the seed. The seed is right there. That's so cute and so tiny. Alright, look what happened. The wind blows leaves over the seed. The wind blows soil or earth or dirt over the seed. Okay, let's see what happens now. Looks like snow, right? All winter, the seed lies under the leaves and the soil. All winter, the seed lies under the ice and snow and is pushed into the ground. Look at it. Boy, seed, I bet it's really, really cold. And you can see the seed right there. And something is happening to that seed. It says spring comes, rain falls. The sun comes out and warms the earth. The seed begins to grow. So here we have, instead of soil, we have earth. This is earth or soil or dirt. Alright, let's see what's going to happen to that little seed now. At first, the young plant does not look like a tree. The tree is very small. It is only a stem with 2 leaves. We're going to look at it now. It has no apples on it. A tree must grow up before it has apples on it. Each year, the tree grows. It grows tall. In 7 years, it is so tall that you can stand under its branches. In the spring, there are blossoms on the tree. Spring is apple blossom time. Look at it. That's the new plant. So you can even confuse it for any other plant that you have in your backyard or that you see in the park, but it's actually an apple tree. It's just 1 stem and 2 leaves. But this is the apple tree after 7 years. After 7 years have passed, this is your apple tree. It's taller than a 7-year-old kid, right? Don't you wish you were an apple tree? Look at all the animals around the apple tree. Uh-oh, it got stuck on my light. Look at it. Oh, look at the bees. The bees are feeling attracted by the blossoms. Here we go. It says, the blossoms last only a few days. Then they fall to the ground. Now there are green leaves on the tree. Oh, look, there's even a bird on the tree now. And here it says, among the leaves, there are small apples. Let's see if we can find the small apples now. The apples are where the blossoms were. The blossoms are the flowers, where the blossoms were before. The apples are green, and they are almost too small for you to see. But we're going to find them now. The apples grow slowly. They grow all during the spring and the summer. Let's see if we can find the little tiny apples. Ready? Here begins our search. I can find one right here. Do you see it? Yeah, I can see it too. That's a tiny green apple. And it's gonna grow during the spring and also during the summer. I can see 1, 2. Let me see if I can find another one. Oh, I found another one. 3. Oh, this tree's gonna have so many apples. 4. I found another one. Yay. Okay, here we go. Let's see what's gonna happen next. Now it says, in the fall, they are large and ripe. They are ready to eat. We can see the apples and the leaves on the branches. We can see the branches growing out of the trunk. We can see the trunk growing out of the ground. Here we go. Here's a boy. I bet he jumped on the tree to be able to grab some of these delicious apples. Look at them now. The tree is full of apples. Yay. Yummy apples. We can see the bark of the tree. The bark covers the branches and the trunk like a coat. But there is a part of the tree that we cannot see. Sounds like a mystery. Let's find out. What part is that? Is that what I think? Those are the roots. Yes, they are. Look at that. We cannot see the roots. They are under the ground. Some of the roots are large. Some of them are as small as hairs. The roots grow like branches under the ground. A tree could not live without roots. But why? Let's find out why. Why are the roots so important? Don't forget, these are the roots. These are the roots. You see the roots? Some of them are longer longer. They're as long as the tree. So they grow down and the tree grows up towards the sun. Okay, let's find out why the roots are so important. It says over here, roots hold the trunk in the ground. So they are the ones that hold the tree in place. Roots keep the tree from falling when the wind blows. So the roots are like the anchor of the tree. Roots keep the rain from washing the tree out of the ground. So sometimes the rain is also so hard that it washes off the roots, the tree from the ground. But the roots are there to hold the tree into place. So that's why they are so important. And here we can see another picture. So I want you to look at it. What do you think the arrows mean? The arrows mean, boys and girls, that the roots are taking in the water from a river. Now this tree happens to be close to a river. Some trees are far from a river and still the roots grow very, very long, and they can reach the water from the river. So as you can see, the tree doesn't drink water from the leaves. Like sometimes you think, well, if you watered the plant or if you watered the tree, the tree would drink water from the leaves and from the trunk, right? Because you don't put water over here. You water the tree, right? Or you water a plant. But no, actually the tree or the plant can only drink water from these roots, from the roots. That's how they drink water. Let's see what it says. It says, roots do something more. This is the second job of the roots. They take water from the ground. They carry the water into the trunk of the tree. The trunk carries the water to the branches. The branches carry the water to the leaves. So everyone has a very important job here. Without every part of this apple tree, we wouldn't have apples, right? Let's see what happens now. Here we go. Now it says hundreds and hundreds of leaves grow on the branches. The leaves make food from water and air. Air we cannot see, right? But we can see the sun. We can see the sunlight. Sunlight is very important to make food. They make food when the sun shines. The food goes into the branches. It goes into the trunk and roots. It goes to every part of the tree. So once again, the water doesn't come even when the rain falls, boys and girls. Even at that time, the soil, the earth is the one that swallows all the water and saves the water, so the roots can swallow all the water and then take it to the branches, to the trunk, to the branches, and finally to the leaves. Now, the leaves cannot make food only with water. They need something else. They need air. Air is everywhere. You cannot see it. And they also need sunlight. So between sunlight, water, and air, the leaves can make food for the entire tree. Here we go. Let's see what happens next. Oh, look at this apple tree. Isn't it beautiful? It has so many colors. What season is it now? Look at all those apples on the floor. I bet the fox is gonna eat that one, right? Okay, let's see what's gonna happen. Fall comes and winter is near. The work of the leaves is over. They're ready to fall. The leaves turn yellow and brown. The leaves die and fall to the ground. I want you to look at the tree in winter now. It's actually the same tree, boys and girls, but this tree is during fall and this tree is during winter. It has no leaves. Now the tree is bare. All winter it looks dead, but the tree is not dead. Under its coat of bark, the tree is alive. Oh, something is happening. The miracle of the seasons, right? What season do you think is this one? If you say spring, you are very right. Look at the beautiful rainbow and all the rain. Spring comes again. Rain falls. The sun warms the earth. The tree blossoms and new leaves grow. As long as it lives, the apple tree grows. As long as it lives, the apple tree blossoms. In the spring, and apples grow on it. So it's springtime now. The sun is shining. We can see it right there. And, the tree just have flowers, but the flowers are going to become apples. I want you to look at this beautiful picture. The kids are having a picnic right there. I bet they're eating some apples, right? Or maybe no yet, because the apple tree has no apples yet. But soon there will be. When do you think, when do you like apple trees best? In spring, when they are covered with blossoms. So this is when they're covered with blossoms. These are blossoms. The flowers are blossoms. The pink flowers. Oh, but they are now. Look, I bet this is summer now. In summer, when they are covered with leaves. They don't have the apples yet, but soon. In winter, when they are bare. Look at it. It has no leaves, no apples, no flowers. And this is the last season. What season do you think is this? You're right, this is fall. Or in fall, when they are covered with apples. And I bet that the girl and the dog want some apples, right? And this is actually the end of the story. So you can tell me, when I talk to you on the phone, you can tell me which one is the season when you like apple trees the most. All right, here we go. I want to read a little bit the second story with you. And the second story has real pictures. And it says, grow apples, grow. And you can also see these beautiful pictures. Apples are really, really beautiful, right? And healthy. Every apple tree starts with a tiny apple seed. An apple tree grows roots which take in water. That's what we've seen before. That's one of the functions of the roots. And food from the soil. The apple tree also grows leaves, which make food from sunlight. Here we can see the apple cut in half. You can see the seeds or the black things in there, and this is the apple. Kind of looks like a heart, right? Inside. And then it says, in the spring, apple trees blossom or grow flowers, because these are the flowers. And the flowers are really, really cute. Look at the girl. She has a basket of apples already. It says the flowers drop off and apples grow in their place. In the fall, the apples are ready to be picked. Here we go. We're almost done with our story. Now it says, people make many kinds of foods from apples. So this can be apple cider or apple juice. Here we can see apple pie, and I think these are apple slices, right? That have been fried. Okay. And here we can see a boy enjoying a green apple. It says apples may be sweet or tart or soft or crisp or crunchy, but one thing apples always are is munchy, munchy, munchy. And I hope you enjoy our story, our lesson 24 story about apples, and you can watch this video every day and read with me. Well, see you later for our first workbook lesson. Bye, boys and girls.